Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm excited to show off this new game called Under a Rock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a couple trailers. They're not long, maybe like 30-40 seconds, and then I'm gonna give you some details on this new upcoming survival crafting building game that is in the processes of being developed by a 5-man team. And I did speak to the developers and I was able to ask them a few questions about this new game, and I'm gonna give it to you guys. So let's play the trailers, then I'll come back in and give you some game details on what this new game is, what it's all about, and what questions I ask the developers and what their responses are. So let's roll the trailers and I'll see you in a second. Alrighty, so that was Under a Rock's newest trailer, and it's not bad. It looks pretty good. It looks like the environment and the world and the different worlds that you're going to actually survive and build and craft things in is actually pretty good. It gives me a good feel, and even the graphics are a little bit different than the games I normally go for, like these hardcore realistic games like the Day Before and stuff. But I did play a lot of Save the World on Fortnite. I don't mind this type of stuff. I definitely still think there's a good market for a decent survival game like this. Look at Valheim, an early access PC survival game that is now coming to Xbox by the end of the year. All right, let's get in some of the game details for this new game, Under a Rock. It's a procedural open world survival crafting game for 1 to 10 players. So it looks like they're definitely going for a multiplayer platform here. Explore a primitive but dangerous place with a different evolutionary path. Here, wildlife is oversized, Neanderthals still exist, and curses are real. All right, the setting of the game. You are an early 19th century explorer who just arrived or crash landed, probably a more precise term, in a hot air balloon that was ripped to pieces by a supernatural storm. Again, this reminds me of Save the World. The underlying mission is to find out what happened to a previous expedition. You lift a curse that lies over the land and discover a way to escape back home through the supernatural storm with as much treasure, artifacts, and native wildlife as you possibly can. It says it's going to increase your standing with the Society of Explorers, whatever the hell that means. Apart from this, just have fun exploring, crafting, building, fighting, taming, hunting, surviving, and more. Your avatar is not locked to one specific world. You may freely travel between worlds with all of your stats and gear intact. This is interesting, guys. Advanced AI. We want to make Under a Rock more interesting by having dynamic AI and are currently developing an AI engine for this purpose. Don't be surprised if a neighboring clan or Neanderthal stage a raid on your base just because you smell wrong. This really sounds good. It sounds like a lot of fun. Like if one thing gets stale, you just move on to the next thing. 1 to 10 players in co-op, but we plan on allowing an experimental mode where the host can set a higher player count. The host is going to be able to set rules for the server. PvP on/off will be available. There are several ways. You can host the game directly from your own computer, set up your own dedicated server, or by renting a game server in the cloud from one of their partners. Games can either be public or private. How long has Under a Rock been in development? Full production started October 8th, 2021. Prior to this, they spent a few months thinking shit up and playing around with the idea of doing a procedural world. Which game engine are you using? Under a Rock is powered by Unreal Engine 5. So this is all stuff from their Steam page. I wanted to read this off, guys, maybe a little boring, but I really wanted to give you a sense of what this game is and the things that they're offering. All right, this is what I asked them. I'll pull it up on the screen so you guys can see it. Number one is like, what's your plans for a console release? Because I'm getting tired of all these games that I do and everyone else does, and they're only PC games. Like, can we give some PlayStation some love and some Xbox some love and even some Nintendo Switch? So I always ask, is this coming to consoles? I also did ask, like, hey, what is a rough estimate, or can you give me a rough estimate on any testing or an early access release date? All right, he said, let's see. Console release is in the roadmap, so that is good news. He goes on to say, unfortunately, I cannot give a rough estimate on when the console release is going to happen nor a rough estimate on the testing or early access release. What we do know is that we will start inviting players to a closed alpha testing as soon as the features are in place, and that would be around the time that we could truly say that we have this game playable. So again, if you guys want to be part of this and you're on PC, join the Discord. I'll leave the link in the description. But it's safe to say that Valheim gave us the inspiration to do procedural worlds. It says, as a team, this is our second game. Individually, we have worked on and delivered other games prior to starting Nordic Trolls together. Our previous game was a VR hack and slash action RPG game called Carnage Chronicles. So far, it does look good. I'm excited to give it to you guys here on the channel. Let me know what you think of this game. Drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel for future content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.